Please subscribe and you can download this code from description below. In this tutorial, we will explore how to troubleshoot and resolve the ModuleNotFoundError error when running a Python Azure function locally using Visual Studio Code, VSCode. This error typically occurs when Python cannot locate the required modules or packages needed for your Azure function. We will cover the common causes of this error and provide step-by-step instructions for resolving it. Visual Studio Code, VSCode. Make sure you have VSCode installed on your system. You can download it from https://code.visualstudio.com. Azure Functions Extension. Install the Azure Functions Extension in VSCode. This extension helps you develop and debug Azure Functions. You can install it from the VSCode Extensions Marketplace. Azure Functions Project. Set up a Python Azure Functions project. If you don't have one yet, you can create a new Azure Functions project using the Azure Functions extension. Follow these steps to troubleshoot and resolve the ModuleNotFoundError issue. Make sure you have activated the virtual environment for your project. In the VSCode terminal, navigate to your project folder and run the following command to activate the virtual environment. Use pip to install any missing dependencies. Navigate to your project folder and run. Check your import statements in your Python code. Ensure that they match the structure of your project and the installed packages. In VSCode, open your project folder and click on the Python interpreter version in the lower left corner. Select the interpreter from your virtual environment. Verify that your code is located in the correct folder within your Azure Functions project. It should typically be inside the function folder. Open the function.json file for your Azure function. Ensure that the script file and entry point properties point to the correct Python file and function name. Use the VSCode debugging tools to step through your code and inspect variable values. This can help you identify the specific location where the ModuleNotFoundError occurs. Suppose you have an Azure function project with a requirements.txt file and a Python script function.py that references an external module my_module. If you encounter a ModuleNotFoundError for my_module, ensure that by following these steps and addressing the common causes of ModuleNotFoundError, you can successfully run your Python Azure functions locally in VSCode. Remember to use debugging tools and print statements to further diagnose issues if needed. This will help you identify the root cause and resolve the error effectively. ChatGPT. Title: Troubleshooting ModuleNotFoundError when running Python Azure Functions locally in VSCode. Introduction. When working with Python Azure Functions in Visual Studio Code, VSCode, it's not uncommon to encounter the ModuleNotFoundError error. This error typically arises when the interpreter is unable to locate the required module. This tutorial will guide you through the process of troubleshooting and resolving this issue in your local development environment. Prerequisites. Troubleshooting ModuleNotFoundError. Follow these steps to troubleshoot the ModuleNotFoundError issue when running Python Azure Functions locally in VSCode. Step 1. Check for required packages and dependencies. Ensure that all necessary packages and dependencies are installed in your Python environment. It is recommended to use a virtual environment to isolate your project's dependencies. Activate the virtual environment and install the required packages using the following commands. Step 2. Verify the configuration settings. Check the configuration settings within your Azure Function app. Ensure that the settings are correctly pointing to the appropriate modules and packages. Verify that the _init_.py file and other required modules are present and properly referenced. Step 3. Review the module import statements. Inspect your Python files for any import statements. Verify that the modules you are trying to import are installed and accessible within your environment. Cross-check the import paths to ensure they are correctly referencing the required modules. Step 4. Set the Python path environment variable. If the modules are installed in a custom location, you may need to set the Python path environment variable to include the path to the modules. This can be done using the following command. Step 5. Check the function app execution environment. Ensure that the Azure Functions core tools and the necessary runtime environment are set up correctly. Update the Azure Functions core tools to the latest version if needed. Step 6. Restart VSCode and retry execution. Sometimes, a simple restart of VSCode can resolve configuration-related issues. Close VSCode, reopen it, and retry executing your Python Azure function. Step 7. Consult Azure Function documentation and community support. If the issue persists, refer to the official Azure Function documentation and seek help from the community forums. You may find relevant troubleshooting steps specific to your scenario. Conclusion. By following these troubleshooting steps, you should be able to resolve the ModuleNotFoundError issue when running Python Azure Functions locally in Visual Studio Code. Remember to double-check your configurations and environment settings to ensure smooth execution of your Azure Functions. ChatGPT